The hydraulic seals hissed as Nyla tightened the final coupling on her ship's quantum drive manifold. Sweat dripped down her temple despite the cold Kepler 442b night, mixing with the biolubricant smeared across her forearms. The wrench clicked 3 times, the sound of molecular bonds fusing at the microscopic level. "There," she muttered, wiping her hands on her flight suit. "That should hold for another 10,000 light-years." The ship, a modified Terran Defense Force Striker-class corvette, sat in the clearing like a wounded animal. Its ablative armor bore scorch marks from her last engagement, 3 months prior, before she'd mustered out. Before she'd decided that 20 years of war was enough. Before she'd found this quiet colony world on humanity's frontier and filed for homestead rights. Nyla climbed down from the landing strut, her prosthetic left leg whirring softly with each step. The servo motors were older models, military-grade from the Proxima campaign. They'd outlasted 3 tours and countless battles. Like her, they just needed maintenance and peace. The dwelling she'd constructed sat 50 meters from her ship, a prefabricated habitat pod expanded with local timber. It wasn't much, but it was hers. No officers. No deployment orders. No watching friends turn to vapor when plasma torpedoes breached hull integrity. She sealed the ship's maintenance hatch and trudged toward the dwelling, her tactical awareness never quite switching off. The forest around her homestead was quiet. Too quiet. The local fauna, 6-legged analogs to Earth's deer, usually made noise at this hour. Nyla's hand drifted to her hip, where her sidearm used to rest. She'd turned it in with her discharge papers. Inside, she heated a ration pack Old Habits and pulled up the colony's data feed on her tablet. 47 other homesteaders scattered across this continent. The nearest neighbor was Brian, a former TDF engineer, 15 clicks east. They'd served on different ships but recognized the same haunted look in each other's eyes at the colony's monthly supply drop. She was asleep within minutes, exhausted from 14 hours of repairs. Dawn broke with the sound of breathing. Not her breathing. Nyla's eyes snapped open, every combat reflex flooding her system with adrenaline. Through the dwelling's transparent aluminum window, she saw them. Dozens of figures surrounded her home in concentric circles. They stood motionless, each roughly humanoid but clearly alien. Their skin bore intricate patterns, geometric designs, painted in what looked like bioluminescent pigments that glowed faintly in the early light. War paint. She recognized it instinctively. The same way a soldier recognizes the stance of another warrior. They wore minimal armor, mostly leather-like material reinforced with what appeared to be ceramic plates. Each carried weapons, spears tipped with something that shimmered like contained plasma, and what looked like rail-accelerated projectile throwers slung across their backs. Nyla's mind raced through first contact protocols. This world had shown no signs of intelligent native life. The survey teams had been thorough. How had they missed an entire civilization? She stood slowly, raising her hands in what she hoped was a universal gesture of non-aggression. The aliens didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at her dwelling with an intensity that made her skin crawl. One stepped forward taller than the others, with paint patterns that incorporated silver and gold compounds mixed with the bioluminescent base. A leader. The alien's 3-fingered hand gestured toward Nyla's ship. Then it spoke. The sounds were impossible clicks and harmonics that shouldn't come from a throat. But her neural translator implant, still active from her service days, caught fragments. Enough to understand. Demon, machine, Skyfire. Nyla's blood ran cold. They'd seen her repairing the ship. They'd seen her working on technology that, to them, might as well be magic. And they'd painted themselves for war. She needed help. Her hand found her comm unit and punched in Brian's emergency frequency. Brian, code red, my coordinates, armed natives, possible first contact gone wrong. Static, then copy, inbound, 20 minutes. 20 minutes might as well be 20 years. The alien leader stepped closer to the dwelling. Nyla noticed something else, now younger aliens behind the warriors, their paint less elaborate. They weren't all soldiers. This was a community response. She thought about the quantum drive she'd just repaired, about the exotic matter containment fields and the zero-point energy modules, about how her ship could, If she initiated the self-destruct sequence, create a crater 2 kilometers wide, they thought she was a threat. And technically, they were right. But Nyla hadn't survived 20 years of interstellar war by shooting first. She'd survived by understanding the enemy, by finding the thread of communication in chaos. She stepped outside, hands raised high. The aliens tensed, weapons lifted slightly. Nyla knelt slowly, her prosthetic leg clicking softly as it adjusted. She placed both palms flat on the ground, a position of submission in dozens of species' body language. Vulnerable, non-threatening. Then she waited. The leader watched her for what felt like hours but was probably seconds. Then they did something unexpected. The alien knelt as well, mirroring her posture. Behind them, the other warriors lowered their weapons fractionally. In the distance, Nyla heard the high-pitched whine of Brian's atmospheric flyer approaching. But she didn't move, didn't break eye contact with the alien leader. Because she understood now, they hadn't come for war. They'd come painted for war because they were terrified. Because something had descended from the stars and made thunder and lightning in the night. Because the unknown demanded courage, and courage demanded ceremony. "Brian," she said quietly into her comm, "stand down when you arrive. This isn't a combat situation." "You sure about that?" Brian's voice crackled back. Nyla looked at the alien leader, at the way the bioluminescent paint pulsed in patterns that might be communication, at the way the younger aliens watched with curiosity rather than hatred. "Yeah," she said. "I'm sure. This is a first contact situation, and we're going to do it right." The alien leader's painted face shifted in what might have been a smile. Behind Nyla, her ship sat silent, a monument to human engineering and warfare. But here, kneeling in the dirt with an alien leader, Nyla thought maybe she'd found what she'd been searching for since her discharge. Not peace through isolation, peace through understanding. And isn't that what veterans really fought for? End